What's going on, guys? I am back with another show and tell of another pistol that I just bought. Um, it is a Glock 17 Gen 5 MOS, and I'm running a Trigicon SRO red dot, Surefire X300, and no mag. Everything's empty. And I'm also running an Overwatch Precision flat trigger, the DAT. So I'm going to talk about a couple of things on this, just from my personal preferences and my reviews throughout running different red dots and lights and triggers. So I'm going to start with the Trigicon. I was a really big fan of Hollow Sun, and I still am, but I did a review on a Glock 19 MOS a few weeks ago, and I ran the 507 V2 green dot. And I don't know if it was the green dot, but it just really messed with my eyes, and I did not like it. And so I wanted to give this SRO a shot. The price point is definitely much higher than a Hollow Sun, but I'm gonna see if we can get, I want you guys to look at this plate. So this is a V4 optic plate, and I run the same plate on my Glock 19 MOS, and you can see there's no gap. So if you ran a regular Glock plate, the plates that come with it, you'll see a gap here. So V4 definitely does a really good job of, here, I'm trying to turn this so I'm not actually pointing a gun at me, but it's gonna go past me. You can see that it's beveled. I'm trying to get this angle in here. Anyway, the plate is beveled, and it's contoured very nicely. And the thing I like about these V4 optic plates is they actually come with the right screws to mount this whole package. So it comes with, and it also comes with two different bits, because they're running two different Torx bits, and also red Loctite. The instructions are very simple to follow. And they come in little Ziploc baggies telling you what screws go to what. And for $78 shipped, it is definitely worth the money. So anyway, I got this mounted yesterday. The V4 plate came in the mail yesterday, and I just bought this on Thursday, the gun. I bought the optic Friday, and I have a few of these Surefire X300s. I'm gonna talk about this next. But anyway, the mount up was super simple. I don't have a Torx bit driver, and it calls for 10 pounds, 10 inch pounds of torque. So I kind of winged it. You really want to be careful mounting these. If you over tighten them, you can crack the housing, you can strip your threads, or after some time you can weaken that screw post. And after several rounds of recoil, you can snap that in half, and you're kind of stuck and have to start all over again. But anyway, my thoughts on the SRO. I really like the big window. I'm gonna try and find that red dot for you guys here. It's probably gonna be a little difficult. There, oop, I just seen it. There we go. So this is a 2.5 MOA. You can get a 1 MOA, 2.5, and a 6 MOA. And the 6 MOA is just too big for me, especially if I'm trying to do long distance shooting. When I say long distance, I think anything over 50 yards, because that red dot's just going to get bigger as the distance goes out with whatever your target you're shooting at. I have not fired this yet, so this is completely brand new. With the ammo shortage and everything, I'm being really stingy and scarce with my ammo. I'm sure it'll only take not even a magazine to zero this in. It recommends you zeroing it at 25 yards, which I think is a little far for this intended purpose. I will probably zero this in anywhere from 10 to 15 yards, because I just don't see me shooting past 25 yards. Not with a 9mm anyway, especially for, they say its effective range is 100 meters for a 9mm. Anyway, that story's for another time. I've seen things get shot with a 9mm, and if y'all are smart, you guys can put two and two together. But if I'm shooting at somebody with a 9mm and it's 75 to 100 yards, I'm not even gonna attempt that. So Overwatch Precision flat trigger. I did a review on a Glock 45 MOS that I had put together last year, and I really like these flat face triggers, and I got a really good deal on this trigger. The trigger bar is NP3 coated, and I know a lot of guys back in the day with like the Gen 3 and Gen 4 Glocks, they would take out their trigger bar and polish it to make everything smoother. So with this being NP3 coated, it's very smooth. So here's my thoughts on this trigger. Now mind you, I've probably dry fired this thing a couple thousand times since then, and it feels to get smoother and smoother each time I pull it. But we have a live trigger. Remember, it's empty, so we're gonna do a dry fire. So that's how far I'm pulling to get to the wall, right there. Then it's gonna break. So it feels like a very long pull. It seems longer pull than the actually stock trigger that's in there. Then we're gonna do a reset. The reset is very long also. So I guess I can only imagine that the more rounds I put through this, the lighter it's gonna become, or maybe smoother. It's not gonna get lighter unless I start changing out springs and stuff. So for now, I'm happy with it. I think the stock Glock triggers in Gen 5s are phenomenal. They're definitely 10 steps above what they used to be, especially from the Gen 4s and the Gen 3s. They're not that spongy, that real bad spongy feeling. So I'm gonna move on to the lights. I feel like I should do a separate video on lights. A couple years ago, I started running weapon lights on all my carry guns, and even my home guns that I leave on nightstands or just stashed around my house or something. So I'm going to talk about the X300 Surefire and the TLR1 HL light, and I'm going to give pros and cons to both. Now, before anyone starts jumping up and down, I'm going to give the most unbiased review. I'm not saying one is better than the other, one is superior, one is inferior. They're both lights. They're both have the same job, the same function. So Surefire, known for its durability, versatility. It's a tough light. It's definitely battle proven. Everything on it is just, it's built to last. And if any of you haven't held or used a Surefire, go to your local gun store and play with one, hold one, and then pick up a TLR1 HL or any Streamlight. So the one thing I don't like about the Surefires that the Streamlights have over it is the strobe feature. I like the strobe feature on the Streamlights. The Surefires do not have a strobe light, but it does have a momentary. So I'm not gonna try and blind you guys here on the camera. So it's just the push of either side. So you're just pushing upward, so you don't have to paddle up or down. And then, but the momentary light is you're just pushing forward. Another benefit I like about the Surefire X300 is it's easy on and off access. There's no tension and screws or anything to screw down using a nickel or a quarter or a screwdriver like you do the TLR1s, and it's just easy on and off. So if I'm running a non-light bearing holster, I don't have anything, I can run it in a different holster. Price point. At my local gun store, now of course you can get these cheaper online, out the door they're about $272, and I've seen them online for roughly around that price. And you know, you can go on eBay or Amazon, but you also run a risk of buying a fake Surefire. They look almost identical. If you Google it, there's a lot of people on there that have been duped by online sellers that sold Chinese copy Surefires, and they look almost exactly the same. They feel the same, but Surefire has barcodes and serial numbers in certain places that you can quickly identify to validate the authenticity of the actual real Surefire. So That's up to you if you want to take that gamble. You see one on eBay for 180 bucks. I would definitely ask that seller for certain pictures of that light before I purchased it. And it could be legit. It could be somebody that is going through hard times or something and just needs some quick cash. But if they have like 10 of them for sale for $180, chances are they're not legit. So I'm sure I have more to talk. Oh yes, I do. The controls. So here's the controls right along the trigger guard. I like how they are contoured down into the trigger guard. There's nothing to get snagged on when drawing. So when I'm drawing out of my holster, whether it's IWB or OWB, this is my fault, and this is, I would say, anybody's fault that doesn't dress accordingly when carrying concealed, or even if you're just at the range or something. But I'm going to show you something that has been happening to me with the TLR1 light. So anyway, I'm going to put this one aside for a second, and we're going to mount the TLR1. So TLR1, there's a screw here that you tighten down, and it gets snugged up to the frame. And here are the controls. So you see the controls, how they're kind of sticking out a little bit. Now, mind you, these are very user-friendly controls compared to the Streamlight. The Surefire. So I do like the strobe feature. I really like that. Would I ever use it? Probably not, but it's kind of the condom theory. It's better to have it, not need it, not have it. They're both 1,000 lumens. Now this one is anywhere from $100 to $140 cheaper than that Surefire. There is absolutely nothing wrong with this light. Absolutely nothing. I've run several of these on other guns that I own. None of them have failed me. They both take the same batteries. So I'm gonna talk about the cons that I have personally experienced with this. So see the controls? Those knobs are susceptible to getting stuck in clothing when drawing out of a holster. And I practice drawing all the time at home, and it always gets caught in my shirt. I'm not sure how. It's by the certain shirt that I wear. So that's why you should practice with the clothing that you have. Unfortunately, you can't get everything in one package. You can't have the ultimate concealed package and expect everything to run smooth without hiccups, unless you're training for it and you're dressing appropriately for your weapon that you're choosing to conceal carry. Something's going to get snagged eventually, and you have to train for that and prepare for that, so that way if it does happen and you do need to draw your weapon, you know what to do to remedy that. So you would think those little knobs wouldn't get caught on stuff. They do, and it has several times. So now that I know that and I've experienced that, I dress different now if I conceal carry a TLR1 HL light on one of my carry guns. So the price point, like I said, probably anywhere from $100 to $140 cheaper. Fantastic light. Does the same job as the Surefire X300. If you're picky about the quick on and off axis of the Surefire versus the TLR1, then spend the extra money. Here, let me get this back off here. Put this thing down. So we're gonna do a little side-by-side comparison. You see the Surefire is just a little bit taller. The Surefire is much thinner. Absolutely nothing wrong with either of these lights. Both of these lights are outstanding. If these, like I said in my last video, if these weren't so expensive, I would buy more of these. But $270, that's like the half of the price of a brand new Glock. Very close anyway. So I am now in the hunt for, if you guys have any other questions about these lights that I just showed, I probably didn't do the best review on it. Feel free to ask questions on there, and I'll tell you my personal experiences with both of them. And if you guys are having trouble deciding which light to get, this is what I say. If you want to save some money and use that other $100 on ammo, if you can find it, get the TLR1. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that light. If you want to be fancy and you got the money to spend and you just got to have a Surefire X300, then get it. There's absolutely nothing wrong with either of these lights. So anyway, if you have any questions about any of that, feel free to ask me, and I'll give you my best advice that I can on feedback and everything. So sights. So this SRO sits super tall on the top of this slide, and even with the Glock plates, it would have sat just as high. So unless I had it milled out specifically for an RMR or SRO, it would only give me maybe a 1/16 of an inch lower. But finding suppressor tall sights for this, I'm gonna have to find something extremely tall. And then I run into another problem with this, finding a holster that'll accommodate the height of that front blade. So, and the only holster maker that I know out there, and I've been doing my homework on this for the last couple of days, that I see that makes a tall enough sight channel in their holsters is the Ragnarok by T-Rex Arms. I'm sure there's more out there. I just haven't found them yet, and I don't want to waste $100 on a holster. And by the time I get my sights on there and everything, and I go to holster it, and it's dragging through the whole holster. So, and I own a few Ragnaroks by T-Rex Arms, fantastic holsters. For their intended purpose, they're fantastic holsters. What else? I don't know if I'm going to send this off to get stippled. I would like to. We will see. So anyway, guys, I just wanted to do a little quick show and tell. I have another surprise for you guys coming up here, probably in another couple of days. I'm going to give you a hint. It's another 1911, and it is super tricked out. So stay tuned. I'll post that soon. But anyway, great looking pistol, the Glock. You've seen one, you've seen them all, but very rare you see them with the SROs yet. So, I mean, they're out there. It's not like I have the only one, but I know Lucas at T-Rex Arms, Modern Day Samurai, Garand Thumb, they all run the SRO, and that Lucas guy at T-Rex Arms, I know he runs the shit out of his. So, if they're running those, then, I mean, you got to trust Trijicon. They're a well-known brand. There was another thing, I watched a video from a guy named Aaron at Sage Dynamics. He did a drop test. I think it was like above his head. Dropped it, shattered the glass, inoperable. So that's kind of scary. No one ever intends to drop their pistol, ever, because we're not out there throwing and kicking around our pistols, but it can happen. And if that does, and you cannot see through this thing, hopefully you have a knife or something to punch that glass out, or get that knocked off there somehow so you can go back to your iron sights. So anyway, guys, we're going on just over 18 minutes, and I will talk to you all soon.